Chapter 3554. In the south of the Taishu sage capital, a huge wormhole was floating. This place was not heavily guarded, and only a few people were sent to guard it symbolically. This was because this wormhole led to a distant galaxy. It was said that it led to a powerful universe-level force, the Sacred Fire Saber Sect. This was a sect, but it was a true universe-level force. It had immortal emperors and not just one or two. It was said that there were many immortal emperors, and they were extremely powerful. They could easily destroy the Taishu dynasty. Therefore, there was not much meaning in setting up a large army to guard this wormhole. If someone from the Taishu dynasty wanted to leave for the Sacred Fire Saber Sect, they could not interfere. Under normal circumstances, people from the Sacred Fire Saber Sect wouldn't come here. To them, this place was just a corner of the sect. When Lu Ming arrived, the guards did not dare to stop him. "Goodbye, Taishu dynasty." Lu Ming looked back and then stepped into the wormhole without hesitation. This was not the first time Lu Ming had entered a wormhole, but this wormhole was exceptionally huge. It was like a void passage. As soon as Lu Ming entered the wormhole, he felt that he was rapidly traversing the void. His speed was so fast that it was as if there were endless stars flying around him. In an instant, he was probably far away from the Taishu dynasty. After a while, there was light in front of him. He found that he had appeared in an unfamiliar galaxy. What a dense divine aura! It's much denser than the Taishu dynasty. Is this the territory of the Sacred Fire Saber Sect? Lu Ming whispered. Someone came through this wormhole. I don't know how many years it has been since someone came through. At this moment, Lu Ming heard a voice. Lu Ming came to his senses. He swept his gaze across the room and sized it up. Behind him was the entrance of a wormhole. In front of him were a dozen people. Among the dozen people, there were elders and middle-aged men. All of them carried long sabers and exuded powerful auras. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that these people were all in the Immortal Lord realm. "Kid, where did you come from?" "Oh, right, it's the Taishu dynasty." "Are you from the Taishu dynasty?" An old man carefully sized up Lu Ming and asked. "Yes, I'm from the Taishu dynasty." "Seniors, is this the Sacred Fire Saber Sect?" Lu Ming cupped his fists and asked politely. Since he was new here and was unfamiliar with the place, he had to be polite. He really is from the Taishu dynasty. At such a young age, he already has a Divine Lord realm cultivation. It seems that he is a top genius of the Taishu dynasty. The old man sized up Lu Ming a few more times before saying, "That's right, this is the Sacred Fire Saber Sect." The wormhole is really fast. According to the map, the Taishu dynasty is at least a few thousand star areas away from the Sacred Fire Saber faction. But we've arrived in such a short time. Lu Ming sighed in his heart and then asked, "Senior, I want to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet." "Where is the wormhole to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet?" Lu Ming asked. The distance to the Dragon Clan's mother planet was incomparably far. There was no wormhole directly to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. One had to transit several times. The Sacred Fire Saber Sect had a boundless territory. It was at least 100 times larger than the Taishu dynasty. It also had many long-distance wormholes. However, these wormholes were distributed in different places and led in different directions. There might not be many wormholes to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. "You also want to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet?" I didn't expect that even a place like the Taishu dynasty would receive the news. The old man was a little surprised and muttered, "What news?" Lu Ming asked curiously. Listening to the old man's words, could it be that many people wanted to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet? "I'm not very sure. You have to go to the wormhole to inquire about the news. There are only 2 wormholes to the Dragon Clan's mother planet in the Sacred Fire Saber Sect, and they are distributed in different star fields of the Sacred Fire Saber Sect. Do you want the Sacred Fire Saber Sect's starry sky map? If you do, I can sell it to you cheaply." The old man smiled. "Yes, how much for one?" Lu Ming asked directly. He definitely wanted the starry sky map. Otherwise, it would be 10,000 times harder to find a wormhole than to find a needle in a haystack in the vast territory of the Sacred Fire Saber Sect. 1 million supreme-grade divine crystals or a monarch elixir. The old man said. So expensive? Senior, it's just a starry sky map. Is there a need to be so expensive? Lu Ming frowned. 1 million supreme-grade divine crystals was not a problem for Lu Ming. However, it was just a starry sky map. There was no need for such a price at all. The old man obviously wanted to rip him off. As for the monarch elixir, it was a kind of divine elixir that was of great help to Divine Lord Realm powerhouses and could speed up their cultivation. At the Divine Lord Realm, the cultivation speed would be even slower. Any casual cultivation would take millions, tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of years. As for the monarch elixir, it could greatly speed up the cultivation speed of the Divine Lord Realm. Therefore, its value was also very high. One monarch elixir was equivalent to 1 million supreme-grade divine crystals. It's not expensive. My starry sky map is very detailed. The old man said with a smile. No need, I'm not buying it. Lu Ming shook his head. Although he did not care about 1 million supreme-grade divine crystals, he did not want to be a fool and be ripped off by the old man. It was very simple to buy a starry sky map. He believed that it would be easy to buy it. After saying that, Lu Ming flew to the side. Want to leave without buying? Stop right there. The old man shouted coldly. His figure flashed and blocked in front of Lu Ming. A powerful aura erupted. Third-level Divine Lord Realm. This old man was a third-level Divine Lord Realm existence. At the same time, the other dozen figures also flashed and surrounded Lu Ming in the middle. One after another, their auras erupted and shrouded Lu Ming. However, the strongest one was the same as the old man, third-level Divine Lord Realm cultivation. The rest were second-level and first-level Divine Lords. Thinking about it, this wormhole only led to the Taishu dynasty. Sacred Fire Saber sect did not put the Taishu dynasty in their eyes at all. Therefore, those who were sent to guard here were also casually sent away by a few people with low cultivation. There were no powerhouses. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. They wanted to buy and sell by force. What are you doing? Lu Ming asked coldly. Boy, I gave you a chance just now. Unfortunately, you don't know how to cherish it. Now, hand over your storage ring. The old man said coldly. Now, it was not the problem of selling the starry sky map. He directly wanted Lu Ming's storage ring. He had already seen that Lu Ming was just a first-level Divine Lord Realm. Even if he was very young and was a genius, how strong could a mere genius of the Taishu dynasty be? He was confident that he could suppress Lu Ming with a slap. Are you sure you want my storage ring? Let me leave and I can forget about what happened just now. Lu Ming said coldly. When he first came to Sacred Fire Saber sect, he did not want to cause trouble. He just wanted to borrow the wormhole here to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Therefore, he took a step back. Chapter 35:55. But Lu Ming took a step back. The other party thought that he was scared. Forget it just like that? This kid has such high-sounding sentiments. Reckon that this kid is used to being arrogant in that corner of the Taishu dynasty. Makes sense, in that place of the Taishu dynasty, reaching first-level Divine Lord at a young age is probably one of a kind. He's definitely arrogant. But this place is the Sacred Fire Saber sect. Kid, you don't understand anything here, right? In the Sacred Fire Saber sect, those who reach the Divine Lord Realm among the younger generation are plentiful. By the side, the others laughed loudly, revealing thick mocking looks. Kid, hurry up and hand over the storage ring. We can spare your life. Otherwise die. The old man at the beginning yelled coldly. Get lost. Lu Ming finally lost his patience. The strongest was merely third-level Divine Lord. Furthermore, it looked like it was also the most ordinary third-level Divine Lord. Honestly speaking, Lu Ming really did not place him in his sights. When he was at the 8th-level Divine King realm, he could contend with a second-level Divine Lord existence of the barbarian race. Now he reached first-level Divine Lord. Moreover, his sovereign divine power awakened 5 times. The other source secret arts all severed a shackle. His combat strength was goodness knows how many times stronger than back then. Even though the disparity between each level of the Divine Lord realm was very great. But ordinary third-level divine lords, Lu Ming really did not place them in his sights. Even if it was a fourth-level divine lord, Lu Ming had the confidence to kill him easily too. Lu Ming's get lost stunned the old man, making the others also stunned. A mere first-level divine lord brat. Furthermore, it was even a brat who came from that corner of the Taishu dynasty. He actually told him to get lost? Courting death. The old man was enraged at once, his eyes bursting with shocking killing intent. Clang. The battle saber on his back was unsheathed. Terrifying saber light was incomparably dazzling, slashing toward Lu Ming. A third-level divine lord attacking, the power was very strong, able to split a planet in half. But to the current Lu Ming, it was nothing. Bang. In an instant, Lu Ming activated the battle formula, increasing his combat power by 5 times. Right now, Lu Ming had a 100% success rate in triggering the Zhan Sutra's 5-fold combat strength. Lu Ming began to study the Zhan Sutra's 6-fold combat strength. Unfortunately, 6 times combat strength was at least 10 times more difficult than 5 times combat strength. Lu Ming still didn't have the slightest clue. Lu Ming's battle symbol art increased his combat strength by 5 times. At the same time, he circulated all 11 types of divine powers. Lu Ming clenched his fist, and the tyrant god spear appeared. Then he pressed down with the force of Mount Tai. A gigantic spear light pressed down on the old man, causing the void to explode continuously. The moment the old man's saber light collided with the spear light, the saber light shattered immediately. Then, the spear light continued to press down on the old man. Ah! The old man screamed in fright. At this moment his entire body was trembling. He was almost scared to death. It was too terrifying. The power of Lu Ming's spear completely surpassed his, and by a large margin. In the blink of an eye, the old man desperately set up layers of defense around his body. Bang! The tyrant god spear fell. The old man's defenses completely collapsed. He screamed miserably, his body flying out backward like a meteor, flying hundreds of thousands of miles away, smashing into a huge meteor. He lay in the starry sky, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. He had already suffered heavy injuries. By the side, the others were dumbfounded. They were scared silly. That old man was a third-level divine lord, while Lu Ming was just a first-level divine lord. He actually instantly killed the old man in one move, severely injuring him. This combat strength was also too horrifying. Divine Lord Realm, the gap between each level was very shocking. It was not casually said. Wanting to jump levels to battle was very difficult, because those who could reach the Divine Lord Realm were not weak. Their source divine power factor was at least 3 awakenings. As for being able to jump 2 levels to battle, that was even rarer. It could be said to be rare. But Lu Ming, a young man who came out of the Taishu dynasty, actually jumped 2 levels of cultivation and severely injured the old man in one move. This combat strength was truly shocking. Do you all still want my storage ring? Lu Ming opened his mouth coldly, sweeping a glance over everyone present. Now, everyone was trembling and their faces were pale. Misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. It's all that old man's greed. We didn't have any ideas about Sir. That's right. The moment I saw Sir, I felt that Sir must be extraordinary. Reaching the Divine Lord Realm at such a young age in the Taishu dynasty, how can you be immortal? Those people by the side immediately flattered. Although they had the numbers, they felt that even if they attacked together, they were also not Lu Ming's match. How could they still dare to have any ideas about Lu Ming's storage ring? They wished that they could immediately send Lu Ming away. I need a starry sky map. Lu Ming said coolly. I have it. Sir, I'll give it to you. Immediately, a middle-aged man took out a jade talisman and injected divine power. A starry sky map appeared in the air. The markings on it were very detailed. Lu Ming looked carefully and indeed saw some markings of wormholes. Good, not bad. Lu Ming nodded and unceremoniously put it away. Then, his figure flashed and he turned into a beam of light and left the place. Old Lu, are you all right? After Lu Ming left, everyone hurriedly looked at the old man. I was almost crippled. Sigh, this time I really kicked an iron plate. I originally wanted to make a fortune, but I didn't expect that the Taishu dynasty would have such a freakish genius. Truly unlucky. The old man sighed, his face full of misfortune. In the future, it's best not to look down on people from small places. Who knows if some freak will appear? A middle-aged man said. That's right, that's right. This time, I've really gained experience. The others nodded. Lu Ming transformed into a beam of light and flew at high speed. Very soon, he had flown far away. I wonder how my current strength compares to Wan Xin in a battle of the same level? Lu Ming could not help but compare himself to Wan Xin. In the end, he concluded that Wan Xin was definitely not as strong as he was now when he was a first-level divine lord. He now had 11 origin secret techniques that had severed their shackles. Moreover, he still had the primordial divine body. Wan Xin was extremely powerful when he was a first-level divine lord. Needless to say, his primordial divine body was shockingly strong. His various origin secret techniques were even more terrifying. His divine power was unbelievably robust. However, Lu Ming's greatest advantage was the battle character art, the measure character art, and the universe myriad Dao art. With all of these added together, Lu Ming was stronger than Wan Xin when he was a first-level divine lord. However, Lu Ming felt that Wan Xin's potential was far from being fully developed. When he first met Wan Xin was a peak god king. Although Wan Xin was strong, he was not overly strong. He was able to jump levels and fight a first-level god lord. He could even kill one, but he was most likely not a match for a second-level god lord. Later on, as Wan Xin's cultivation increased, his combat strength also increased. His ability to fight those of a higher level also increased. Chapter 35-56. As myriad gods' cultivation increased, it was as though his potential was constantly being unlocked. His ability to fight above his level also became stronger and stronger. A first-level divine lord myriad god's ability to fight above his level was definitely stronger than a ninth-level divine lord. A third-level divine lord myriad god's ability to fight above his level was even stronger than a first-level divine lord. Myriad god was born from the blood essence of dozens of primordial gods. His potential was too great and could be said to be limitless. As myriad god's cultivation increased, his potential would be unlocked and he would become stronger and stronger. Lu Ming was confident that he could surpass myriad god in terms of combat strength at the first-level divine lord realm. However, as his cultivation increased, it was hard to say. I still have to work hard. I wonder what realm myriad god has reached? Also, Bubbles, how are those two fellows from Dandan? World Divine Turtle and Space-Time Spirit Rat. They are extremely powerful existences even in the primitive universe. They are ranked very high on the primitive universe's 10,000 races list. With the support of resources from these two large races, their cultivation should have skyrocketed. They are probably above me now. When I find Autumn Moon and Little Qing, I'll pay them a visit. As he thought about it, Lu Ming thought of Dandan and Bubbles. It had been many years since he last saw them. Right? I haven't carved a teleportation array on my body. Flying like this is too slow. Lu Ming suddenly recalled that once he broke through to the Divine Lord realm, he could carve a teleportation array on his body. By carving a teleportation array, he could activate the teleportation array's power and directly teleport himself out. Although it couldn't be compared to riding a wormhole, it was still many times faster than flying. Sharpening the axe will not delay the work of chopping firewood. I'd better find a place to carve a teleportation array before heading to the wormhole entrance. With this in mind, Lu Ming flew towards a barren planet. After landing on the planet, Lu Ming found a secluded place and sat down cross-legged. Qiu, protect me. Lu Ming waved his hand and Qiu flew out. During the War of the Taishu dynasty, Qiu had devoured countless divine artifacts. Now, it had successfully evolved and reached the first level of the Divine Lord realm. Moreover, it was still in the process of constantly improving. After all, the War of the Taishu dynasty had been too brutal. Countless people had died, and countless divine items had been left behind. Moreover, Qiu couldn't digest a large number of monarch-grade divine artifacts easily after devouring them. Currently, it had only digested a portion of them. In the future, Chiu would continue to refine divine artifacts and its strength would continue to increase. Alright, don't worry and cultivate, Chiu said. Immediately, Lu Ming calmed his heart and began to cultivate. In his mind, he carefully went over the details of the teleportation formation. When he had recovered to his peak state, his fingers began to move rapidly. Numerous runes appeared in his hands. One rune after another flew into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Lu Ming's body was covered with runes that intertwined to form a large formation. This process lasted for 7 days. After 7 days, Lu Ming's body was covered with runes as if he was covered in rune armor. Rise. At this time, Lu Ming shouted. The teleportation formation had reached the final step. When the last rune flew into Lu Ming's body, the runes on Lu Ming's body emitted a resplendent light like a small sun. After a while, all the light dimmed and disappeared. Lu Ming didn't look any different. All the runes were hidden under his skin and couldn't be seen from the outside. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming revealed a look of anticipation. Chiu, let's go, Lu Ming said. Chiu turned into a bracelet and wore it on Lu Ming's wrist. Then, Lu Ming activated his divine power and poured it into the teleportation formation on his body. Then there were ripples in the void. In the next moment, Lu Ming's figure disappeared from the place. In another part of the starry sky, Lu Ming's figure suddenly appeared. I don't know how much distance I crossed in one teleportation. It should be much faster than flying. However, the amount of divine power consumed is really shocking. Lu Ming carefully felt the divine power in his body. His divine power was already very strong and he had 11 star cores. However, the teleportation just now had used up about 1/20th of his divine power. If it was an ordinary first-level divine lord, he would probably only be able to teleport twice before his divine power was exhausted. Moreover, the activation time is slow and it needs time. It's really useless in a big battle. Lu Ming pondered. This teleportation formation could only be used to travel. Then, Lu Ming continued to use the teleportation formation to teleport. After several experiments, Lu Ming realized that each teleportation could cross a few galaxies. This speed was already hundreds of times faster than flying. Lu Ming had the measure word formula and could teleport continuously. However, the Sacred Fire Saber sect's territory was too vast. Even if Lu Ming kept teleporting, he still couldn't reach the next wormhole after a few days of continuous teleportation. In fact, the divine power stored in the measure word formula was almost exhausted. Lu Ming had to stop and find a place to replenish the divine power in the measure word formula. Lu Ming absorbed the divine crystals, refined them, and converted the energy of the divine crystals into divine power. He then injected the divine power into the quantifier formula. When all the divine power was injected, he continued to refine the divine crystals to replenish his energy. This process lasted for a month. Lu Ming felt that the divine power in the measure word formula was very strong and could support him for a period of time. Only then did Lu Ming set off again. After another 3 days of continuous travel, Lu Ming finally arrived near a wormhole. This wormhole was one of the 2 wormholes from the Sacred Fire Saber sect to the direction of the Divine Dragon Clan's mother planet. Of course, it wasn't a direct route but only in that direction. Stop, this wormhole is not open to the public now. Outside the wormhole, there were experts from the Sacred Fire Saber sect guarding. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, he was blocked. The people guarding this wormhole were not like those who guarded the wormhole that Lu Ming came from the Taishu dynasty. Each of the people guarding this wormhole had a strong and terrifying aura. Even the leader had a mountain-like aura, not weaker than Yi Tian, Giant Bear, and the others. He was a quasi-emperor. Senior, why is this wormhole not open to the public? Lu Ming asked. He had inquired before and found out that these wormholes were open to the public. Are you asking the obvious? The quasi-emperor glared. Senior, I really don't know, Lu Ming said with a sincere face. This wormhole is one of the paths to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Now that the Dragon Clan's mother planet has recovered, the protective formation is lax. I heard that those below the 3rd level Divine Lord realm can already enter. During this period, many people want to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. However, there is a limit to the number of people who can go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Therefore, the two wormholes in the direction of the Dragon Clan's mother planet are closed and no one can pass through. The Quasi-Emperor explained. Chapter 3557. The Quasi-Emperor's words stunned Lu Ming. The revival of the dragon race's mother planet? What did that mean? And it had attracted a large number of experts, which made Lu Ming frown. The more people there were, the more unforeseen events. Also, the wormhole leading to the dragon race's mother planet was actually closed. How should he get there? Senior, when will the wormhole open? Lu Ming asked. I don't know when it will open, but I know that 3 months later, the Sacred Fire Saber sect will send a group of experts to the dragon race's mother planet. They are all third-layer divine lords and below. The Quasi-Emperor explained, looked at Lu Ming and continued, if you really want to go, I can point you in the right direction. This time, there is a limit to the number of people going to the dragon race's mother planet. Therefore, the Sacred Fire Saber sect has sent out 3 outstanding third-layer divine lords and recruited experts to form a team to go to the dragon race's mother planet. If you are confident, you can go and join one of them. Oh, where is it? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. On the nearest wood star, there is an outstanding disciple recruiting. You can give it a try, but let me remind you that the revival of the dragon race's mother planet is a great opportunity. Countless people want to get a share of it, but the number is limited. This quota will definitely go through fierce competition. Your cultivation is only first-layer divine lord, it won't be that easy to succeed. The Quasi-Emperor continued. I know what I'm doing. Thank you for telling me. Goodbye. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left for the wood star. After Lu Ming left, these people guarding the wormhole began to discuss. You let him compete for the quota to go to the dragon race's mother planet. You're sending him to his death. How can a first-layer divine lord pass? Yes, the rule this time is that third-layer divine lords and below can go, but it will definitely attract a lot of third-layer and second-layer divine lords. It's impossible for a first-layer divine lord to pass. Several of them spoke with faint disdain. First-layer divine lord, of course he can't pass. I just casually sent him away. What does it have to do with us whether he can pass or not? The Quasi-Emperor from before smiled faintly. The wood star was not very far from here. Lu Ming took out a map of the stars and easily found it. He then teleported towards the wood star. Not long after, a huge planet appeared in front of Lu Ming. This planet was several times larger than the planets Lu Ming had seen before. The divine aura was extremely rich. Looking from afar, the surface of the planet was dotted with huge cities. The planet did not have any defenses, so Lu Ming flew directly towards one of the planets. So many experts. Strolling on the streets of a city, Lu Ming secretly sized up his surroundings and was shocked. There were too many experts on the streets. The streets were filled with god kings. A casual glance would reveal a god monarch. There was even no lack of 7th-level divine lord and above characters among them. Although the wood star was a very important planet for the Sacred Fire Knife sect and ranked in the top 5, the number of such experts was still shocking. One had to know that in the Taishu dynasty, a 7th-level divine lord could command an army or become a heavenly king of a heavenly king's residence. But here, Lu Ming strolled for a while and found no less than 10 7th-level divine lords. One could imagine how many experts there were in the vast Sacred Fire Knife sect. The Sacred Fire Knife sect was indeed a true universe-level force. They even had several Saint Emperors and their strength was amazing. It was far from what sub-universe-level forces like the Taishu dynasty, the Tianyi Sacred Dynasty, and the Barbarian tribe could compare to. After strolling for a while, Lu Ming casually asked around and found out the information he wanted. An outstanding genius of the Sacred Fire Knife sect called Man Ning was recruiting experts in the Sky City on the Wood Star to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. This was because the next stop on the Dragon Clan's mother planet was a powerful race on the primitive 10,000 races list, the Sacred Sparrow race. After setting off from the Sacred Fire Knife sect, the next stop was the Sacred Sparrow race. The Sacred Sparrow race had a wormhole that could directly reach the star sector where the Dragon Clan's mother planet was. However, the Sacred Sparrow race only gave the Sacred Fire Knife sect a quota of 39 people. The Sacred Fire Knife sect could only send 39 people. The rest were not allowed to leave. The Sacred Sparrow race was a race on the primitive 10,000 races list. Its strength was extremely terrifying and far from what the Sacred Fire Knife sect could compare to. Since the Sacred Sparrow race had spoken, the Sacred Fire Knife sect could only comply. Therefore, the Sacred Fire Knife sect sent out 3 outstanding third-level Divine Lords. Each of them was to lead 12 experts and split into 3 teams to head to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Therefore, during this period, the 3 outstanding disciples of the Sacred Fire Knife sect were recruiting experts everywhere. One could imagine that a large number of experts would gather on the Dragon Clan's mother planet this time. Therefore, the stronger the experts recruited, the safer the trip to the Dragon Clan's mother planet and the more opportunities one could obtain. After Lu Ming heard the news, he immediately set off for the Sky City. The Sky City was bigger than the previous city and had more experts. Lu Ming casually asked around and found out where Man Ning was recruiting. Lu Ming headed to the north of the Sky City. There was a huge square, and in the middle of the square, there was a huge battle stage. At this time, the square was surrounded by Man Ning's people. There was only one entrance and there were people guarding it. Those who wanted to head to the Dragon Clan's mother planet had to sign up there. Ming only had 12 people and there were many people signing up. Naturally, there would be competition. Let me tell you, don't think that you can take advantage of the Dragon Clan's mother planet just because it has recovered. That's impossible. This time, countless experts from large factions will be heading there. The competition will be extremely fierce. Those who are not strong enough had better know their limits and not send themselves to death. The person in charge of the registration was a red-skinned old man. At this time, he was shouting and warning those who were weak and not strong. However, not many people listened to the old man, and there were still a large number of people signing up. Of course, those who were below the Divine Lord realm naturally knew that they had no chance. Those who signed up were basically Divine Lords, ranging from 1st level to 3rd level Divine Lords. I've already warned you. Whether you listen or not is your business. The red-skinned old man shook his head and signed up one by one. Very soon, it was Lu Ming's turn. Kid, 1st level Divine Lords better not sign up. Didn't you see so many people signing up? They are all 2nd level Divine Lords and 3rd level Divine Lords. Even if you sign up, it's also impossible to get a spot. The red-skinned old man swept a glance over Lu Ming and said coolly, "Senior, there's no rule that 1st level Divine Lords can't sign up, right?" Lu Ming said, "There's indeed no rule. But even if 1st level Divine Lords sign up, it's also impossible to get a spot. Why bother wasting time?" The red-skinned old man said, his disdain growing thicker. In fact, 1st level Divine Lords signing up were indeed fewer. The majority were 2nd level Divine Lords, with a few 3rd level Divine Lords. Chapter 3558. Lu Ming's brows furrowed slightly and he said, "Senior, I know what I'm doing." "Humph, don't listen to the advice of an old man, you'll suffer a loss. There will be a competition later. If you're killed, don't blame me for not reminding you." The red-skinned old man's voice was somewhat cold. He looked down on this kind of people who overestimated their own ability the most. He had already advised the other party and gave Lu Ming a chance, but Lu Ming did not know how to cherish it. In his view, Lu Ming, this kind of person who overestimated his own ability, was arrogant and conceited, and did not have a clear understanding of his own strength, was destined to not go far. Sooner or later he would fall and be killed. This was the experience he had along the way. Take care of yourself. In the end, the red-skinned old man left a sentence coldly and registered Lu Ming's name. Lu Ming received a jade token, then walked into the square. I'll say it again, if your strength is not enough, don't sign up. Don't overestimate your own ability like some people. When you're killed later, it'll be too late to regret it. The red-skinned old man roared. Lu Ming smiled faintly, too lazy to bother, and walked toward the middle of the square. In the middle of the square, there was a huge battle platform. On one side of the battle platform, there was a staircase extending upward. At the end of the staircase was a platform. On the platform, one could see the situation in the square or the battle platform clearly. At this moment, there were a few people on the platform. To be precise, there were a total of 7 people. In the middle was a woman. She was very beautiful, wearing silver armor, valiant and formidable. On her back, she carried a battle saber. The battle saber was constantly emitting flames, burning fiercely, causing the temperature in the air to rise. Presumably, this person was the sacred fire saber sect's outstanding disciple, Man Ning. Beside the woman, there were also 6 young men and women. All third-level divine lords. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Now, his eyesight was no longer what it used to be. Moreover, the other party did not deliberately hide their cultivation. Therefore, he could easily see the other party's cultivation. The 7 young men were actually all third-level divine lords. The Sacred Fire Saber School was indeed worthy of being called the Sacred Fire Saber School. Its strength was far beyond that of the Taishu dynasty. Back then, among the Taishu dynasty's junior generation, the strongest was just a first-level divine lord. Moreover, there were only 2. But here, they saw 7 third-level divine lord young heavens chosen all at once. Many people had already stepped onto the fighting ring. They were all people who had signed up. Lu Ming also stepped onto the Colosseum. He blended into the crowd and waited. Humph, a first-level divine lord, also came to join in the fun, truly have no idea of death or danger. A gloomy voice sounded. It came from a young man with a cold expression. This person was also a person who registered for the competition. His gaze swept over Lu Ming and the other few first-level divine lords, his face full of disdain. This youth did not conceal his cultivation, emitting his aura unceremoniously. He was shockingly also a third-level divine lord existence. The other first-layer divine lords had ugly expressions. They did not dare to utter a word. They turned their heads away, purposely not looking at the stern youth. However, Lu Ming's expression remained calm. There was even a faint smile on his lips. So what if third-level divine lords? He really did not place them in his sights. Unless the other party was a freakish heavens chosen like Di Jianyi or Murong Qiushui, only then would they bring pressure to Lu Ming. Ordinary heavens chosen, even if their cultivation was 2 levels higher than Lu Ming's, Lu Ming did not feel any pressure to. But how could Di Jianyi and Murong Qiushui, this kind of heavens chosen, be so easy to encounter? One was an existence who walked out of a small kiliacosm, possessing a great lucky chance and great destiny, obtaining the origin ancient character. In many aspects, he was very similar to Lu Ming. And the other was a heavens chosen who obtained the acknowledgement of a life soul essence stone fragment. The 2 people could both be said to be top-notch freaks. How could they be so easy to encounter? But Lu Ming's faint smile landed in the eyes of the stern youth. It made his gaze turn frosty. "Kid, what are you laughing at?" The stern youth said in a cold voice. "What am I laughing at? What has it got to do with you?" Lu Ming casually shot a glance at the stern youth. "What has it got to do with me? Oh, it'll be related to me very soon. You, a first-level divine lord trash, also want to get a spot. Really indulging in the wildest fantasies. Now, I'll give you a chance, scram off the battle stage yourself. Otherwise, if you meet me at the start, it'll be your death date." The stern youth said with a cold smile, his killing intent chilling, making people feel a chill. The other few first-layer divine monarchs shuddered as they felt a chill run down their spines, giving birth to a sense of fear. There was even one person whose gaze flickered a few times and directly jumped off the battle stage, running out of the plaza, directly forfeiting. No one felt surprised. First-level divine lords had no chance to begin with. This time, third-level divine lords were capped. Therefore, third-level divine lord existences were the most powerful. Clashing with a third-level divine lord expert was undoubtedly seeking death. "Third-level divine lord is very impressive?" Lu Ming said it casually, but it drew a wave of jeering laughter. What nonsense is this kid talking about? When a third-level divine lord faces a first-level divine lord, of course he's impressive. Looking at his appearance, it seems like he doesn't place third-level Divine Lord people in his sights. This kid wouldn't have run out from some corner, right? Doesn't have any common sense? By the side, the others snickered, carrying thick disdain. Third-level Divine Lords were indeed nothing impressive. Fourth-level Divine Lords, fifth-level Divine Lords and above, could all be said so. But first-level Divine Lords could not. Because third-level Divine Lords could smack a bunch of first-level Divine Lords to death with one slap. These words coming from the mouth of a first-level Divine Lord person was very laughable. Indeed nothing impressive. Then you just pray that you don't meet me at the back. The stern youth's voice was icy cold, his killing intent frosty, not concealed at all. Many people observed a moment of silence for Lu Ming. Clearly, the stern youth already had killing intent toward Lu Ming. If Lu Ming really met the stern youth at the back, there was probably only a dead end. This minor episode that happened on the battle stage, Man Ning's 7 people on the platform did not pay attention to it in the slightest. Their objective was to select suitable candidates. These people's conflicts had nothing to do with them. Time passed day by day. To Divine King and Divine Lord people, several days, even several months' time was no different from ordinary people's several seconds. In a blink, half a month passed. Alright, registration ends now. At this time, Man Ning finally opened his mouth. Then his gaze swept across everyone on the battle stage and said, I believe that everyone also knows that I need to recruit some people this time to head to the Dragon Clan's homeworld together. More than 30 stellar years ago, the Divine Dragon Clan was annihilated by the other major clans in the universe. The experts of the Divine Dragon Clan were almost wiped out. However, at the last moment, the strongest group of existences of the Dragon Clan used their lives as the price to cast the forbidden technique, 10,000 dragon seals, and sealed the Dragon Clan's homeworld. Outsiders were unable to set foot on it. Since then, the Dragon Clan's homeworld has completely fallen into desolation. But now, the 10,000 dragon seals of the Dragon Clan's homeworld have shown signs of loosening and a flaw has appeared. Moreover, the Dragon Clan's homeworld has also begun to recover and various treasures have appeared. This is a great opportunity for everyone. Man Ning said. Chapter 35:59. Many people's eyes were burning with passion. The Divine Dragon Clan was extremely powerful back then. They were definitely ranked in the top 10 in the entire primitive universe. They were a true overlord. Sacred Fire Saber Sect or Sacred Sparrow Clan were all trash in front of the Dragon Clan back then. They were not worth mentioning. It could be seen how many treasures existed on the Dragon Clan's mother planet. If they could obtain some treasures, they might be able to soar and rise quickly. Who would want to miss out? Man Ning continued, although the 10,000 dragon seals have loosened, it is said that the strongest can only allow third-level Divine Lords to enter. If stronger people want to force their way in, they will be blasted into ashes by the 10,000 dragon seals. Moreover, this time, the Sacred Sparrow tribe only gave our Sacred Fire Saber sect 39 spots. We are divided into 3 teams, and each team has 13 people. However, I already have 6 candidates in mind, so this time, I will only recruit 6 people. 6 people? Many people were taken aback as they looked at the 6 youths beside Man Ning. These 6 youths were most likely the prodigies of the Sacred Fire Saber sect. Although the Sacred Fire Saber sect ruled over a vast territory, not all of the territory belonged to the Sacred Fire Saber sect. There were many affiliated sects and dynasties under them. There were also many sub-universe level forces like the Taishu dynasty. That's right. This time, there will definitely be prodigies from various major forces entering the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Therefore, if you want to obtain opportunities, you must have powerful combat strength. This time, I want to select the strongest 6 to join my team. Therefore, you will compete. Only the strongest 6 can join my team and head to the Dragon Clan's mother planet with me. Man Ning said. Many people looked at each other with solemn expressions. They originally thought that there would be 12 spots, but now they realized that there were only 6 spots. The pressure of competition increased sharply. Miss Man Ning, I don't think there is a need to go through so much trouble. With so many people competing, how long will it take? I suggest that we directly let third-level Divine Lords compete and decide the top 6 spots, and that will do. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. It was the cold youth from before. The moment these words came out, the expressions of those first-level Divine Lords and second-level Divine Lords changed. This way, they did not even need to compete. Wouldn't they be eliminated? I also feel that this is for the best. First and second-level Divine Lords, even if they participate in the competition, there's no meaning to it. Another young man said, Divine Lord Realm, the disparity between each level was very great. People who could cross realms to battle were all extremely few. Moreover, most of those who could participate in the registration this time were geniuses with strong combat strength. It was even more impossible for them to fight someone of a higher level. Man Ning revealed a thoughtful expression, as if he was also considering the other party's suggestion. I don't think that's appropriate. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. What a joke! If he didn't let them compete and eliminated them, wouldn't he not be able to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet? This was impossible. He had to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon could both be on the Dragon Clan's mother planet. He was determined to get this spot. As soon as Lu Ming said that, many people turned to look at Lu Ming. It's you, this first-level Divine Lord trash. Seeing Lu Ming, a wisp of cold light flashed across in the cold youth's eyes and he said, You say that it's inappropriate? What's inappropriate about it? Combat strength has never been measured by cultivation. Lu Ming said, Hearing your meaning, your combat strength is very strong. You can contend with a third-level Divine Lord with first-level Divine Lord cultivation? The cold youth said with a look of ridicule. That's right. Lu Ming nodded his head very seriously. Ha! The cold youth laughed exaggeratedly, laughing until his entire body trembled, laughing until tears flowed out. All around, many people were also snickering, looking at Lu Ming like looking at a fool. A first-level Divine Lord person said that he could contend with a third-level Divine Lord? Was this possible? Crossing 2 levels in the Divine Lord realm? If crossing 1 level, there was still a little possibility. But crossing 2 levels, this was simply impossible. There was no possibility at all. Such a heaven's pride, even the Sacred Fire Saber sect did not have it. This nameless brat who ran out from God knows which corner actually said that he could cross 2 levels, contending with a third-level Divine Lord existence with first-level Divine Lord cultivation. Joke, truly a colossal joke. This brat overestimates his own ability too much. I've long seen through that he's a fool, really disgusting. The red-skinned old man who was in charge of registration previously revealed a disdainful smile, a look of disgust on his face. He hated this kind of person who ran his mouth the most. Too unreliable, only knowing how to boast. On the platform, Man Ning as well as the other 6 youths also shook their heads. As the Sacred Fire Saber sect's heaven's pride, it was also not that they had not seen before terrifying monsters. For example, Man Ning himself was a top monster in the Sacred Fire Saber sect. But wanting to cross 2 levels to battle in the Divine Lord realm? Man Ning shook his head. Blindly arrogant, overestimating his own ability, such a person isn't fit to take part in this competition at all. If we let him head to the dragon race's homeworld, he'll probably cause everyone's death. A youth beside Man Ning said coldly, Brat, you'd better go down. Yes, don't take part in it. On the platform, several youths berated, wanting Lu Ming to go down. Wait a minute. At this time, the cold-faced youth shouted, Since this brat is so confident, why don't we let him show us? If we don't let him show us, he'll think he's invincible. We didn't give him a chance. Brat, don't you think so? In the end, the cold-faced youth looked at Lu Ming. Of course, he was not so kind as to help Lu Ming. He wanted to embarrass Lu Ming and even find a chance to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming dared to talk back to him before, so he had already made up his mind to kill Lu Ming. You're right, if you don't let me show you, I won't be convinced. Lu Ming's expression was calm, and he nodded seriously. Ha! This caused another round of disdainful laughter. Man Ning, did you hear that? He said he wants to show us, then give him a chance to show us. The cold-faced youth looked at Man Ning. Man Ning mused for a moment, then nodded. Brat, Miss Man Ning agreed to let you show us. Now say, who do you want to challenge? The cold-faced youth said. Don't you want to kill me? Then I'll give you a chance. Now, fight with me. At this moment, Lu Ming became serious, staring at the cold-faced youth. What? The scene suddenly fell silent. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in a daze. Lu Ming actually really wanted to challenge the cold-faced youth, a third-level divine lord existence. The next moment, the scene was in an uproar. This brat is really crazy, to actually want to challenge Kudao. This is courting death. Too ignorant. I even wonder how this brat lived until now. No matter how he lived until now, I know that he definitely won't live until tomorrow. Chapter 3560. Ridiculous. You're courting death. The red-skinned elder waved his sleeves, his eyes filled with disgust. On the platform, Man Ning and the other 6 youths shook their heads with a sneer. In their opinion, Lu Ming was courting death. However, they wouldn't stop him. If he was courting death, why should they stop him? Moreover, killing wasn't prohibited in today's competition. It was normal for someone to be killed. On the other hand, Kudao was taken aback. The surprise came too suddenly. Originally, he wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, given his cultivation, it was really embarrassing for him to challenge a first-level divine lord. However, Lu Ming had taken the initiative to challenge him. If that wasn't a surprise, then what was? Alright, since you're so confident, if I don't accept, then I won't give you a chance to show off. I accept your challenge. Kudao said hurriedly, afraid that Lu Ming would go back on his word. Then, let the first round begin. Man Ning spoke and waved his hand. The figures of the people in the fighting ring flashed, and all of them left the fighting ring to watch the fight. Only Lu Ming and Kudao were left in the fighting ring. Kid, I'll give you a chance to make your move. I'll let you make 3 moves. If you have any trump cards, feel free to use them. You won't have a chance to use them later. Kudao looked at Lu Ming with an arrogant expression. I wanted to say that to you. Since you're so confident, then forget it. I'll make my move first. Lu Ming said. Many people almost laughed out loud. The reason why they did not laugh was that Lu Ming had already made his move. Afterward, the expression on their faces changed from sneering disdain to shock and deep fear. Boom! Lu Ming made his move. He activated the battle character manual and increased his combat strength by 5 times. Then, the 11 types of divine power in his body exploded. He even used the power of the Sovereign's divine power after the 5th awakening. Then, the Sovereign's gate formed and became 10,000 feet tall. It pressed down on Kudao. After all, Kudao was a 3rd-level divine lord. To be able to reach this realm at such a young age, he must be very talented. He was a proud son of heaven. Lu Ming would not underestimate him. He used a powerful force right from the start. Only the primordial divine body hadn't been used. Of course, the power of the primordial divine body hadn't been activated either. Even so, it was still extremely terrifying. The boundless power of the Gate of Domination caused everyone's expression to change. As for Kudao, his expression changed drastically. He felt as if a planet was crashing down on him. He knew that he had misjudged Lu Ming. Lu Ming was a terrifying expert. Then, with a furious roar, he unleashed all of his power and slashed out. A vast and resplendent saber light slashed towards Lu Ming. Kudao wasn't weak. He had awakened his Origin Divine Power Factor 4 times and had mastered Origin's secret arts. He was much stronger than the old man who had tried to rob Lu Ming. However, the result was still destined. There was no way he could compete with Lu Ming. Boom! Under the suppression of the Gate of Domination, Kudao's saber gleam vibrated violently before it exploded with a loud bang. A violent force bombarded Kudao's body. Kudao screamed and retreated rapidly, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. He looked at Lu Ming in horror. The scene fell into a deathly silence. At this moment, there was no longer any ridicule on their faces. There was only shock, and confusion. One move. In just one move, Kudao had coughed up blood and been forced to retreat. How was that possible? That was a 1st-level divine lord. How could he defeat a 3rd-level divine lord in one move? This The red-skinned old man's eyes bulged. His mouth was so wide that he could swallow a goose egg. His old face had already turned purplish-black from shame. Before, he had said that Lu Ming was overestimating himself and was arrogant. He was disgusted by Lu Ming's performance. But now, Lu Ming had used his actions to show him that Lu Ming was truly confident. That was because he had the strength to back it up. It was him who had been short-sighted, a frog at the bottom of a well, unable to see. At this moment, he wished he could buy a block of tofu and kill himself. This was too embarrassing. On the platform, Man Ning and the other 6 young men rose to their feet with astounded expressions. A monster. After a while, Man Ning spat out those 2 words. She was pleasantly surprised. For Lu Ming to be able to defeat Ku Dao in one move meant that he was probably on the same level as her. Even if he was weaker, the difference wouldn't be by much. This would be a great help in their journey to the dragon race's mother planet. First move. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke slowly. Then, his divine power continuously surged into the gate of domination, preparing to launch a second attack. Damn it. Ku Dao roared inside. He knew that he definitely wasn't a match for Lu Ming. The only way to survive was to run. He turned into a ray of saber light and retreated down the stage. You want to leave now? Too late. Let's talk after 3 moves. Lu Ming icily said. Following this, the wind extinguisher boots appeared and merged with his feet. Lu Ming turned into a ray of light and chased after Ku Dao. An essence secret art. A second essence secret art. As soon as the wind extinguisher boots appeared, the crowd went into an uproar. Lu Ming actually had a second essence secret art. Ancient cultivation method. He is cultivating the ancient cultivation method. No wonder he is so powerful. Someone roared, thinking that he had seen through Lu Ming's secrets. However, before he could finish his words, there was a loud clang. Lu Ming waved his hand and the void-shattering sword flew out. It tore through the air and instantly caught up with Ku Dao. A third essence secret art. Everyone was stunned. The red-skinned elder's face had already turned into an eggplant. His body was trembling, and he wished he could find a crack to hide in. Of course, Lu Ming's essence secret art did not activate the power to sever the shackles. Otherwise, everyone's eyes would have popped out. Pucci. The Voidbreaker slashed out and directly cut Ku Dao in 2. Then, the gate of domination came crashing down. Spare me, spare me! Ku Dao screamed in horror. But Lu Ming's eyes were cold and he was unmoved. The gate of domination came crashing down with the force of 10,000 caddies, bringing with it a destructive force. Boom! Ku Dao screamed, and his body exploded. His body and soul were destroyed. As for the interspatial ring, Lu Ming grabbed it and put it away. The crowd was silent as they stared blankly at Lu Ming. A monster. A word appeared in their minds. Yes, a monster. Lu Ming was definitely a monster. Otherwise, how could he kill an opponent who was 2 levels higher than him? Moreover, it was a crushing defeat. Only the word, monster, could describe Lu Ming. I want one of the 6 spots. Anyone who's not convinced, come up and fight. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the crowd. No one said a word. Ku Dao had been crushed. Who would dare to go up? Ku Dao was considered strong among 3rd-level divine lords. He had mastered an essence secret art, and his essence divine power factor had awakened 4 times. Many 3rd-level divine lords had not only not mastered an essence secret art, but their essence divine power factor had also only awakened 3 times. If Ku Dao was no match for him, wouldn't they be courting death? Chapter 3561. Lu Ming waited for a long time, but no one went up to fight with him. Since there's no one, then I'll take this spot. Lu Ming spoke, looking at Man Ning on the platform. Brother, with your combat strength, you should get a spot. Man Ning nodded, very satisfied with Lu Ming's combat strength. Although he was only a 1st-level divine lord, his combat strength was astonishing. Going to the dragon race's mother planet together, he believed that it would be of great use. Lu Ming nodded, his figure moved, landing on the platform. Alright, there are still 5 spots left. For the sake of fairness, let's fight one-on-one and choose the strongest, nameless. Man Ning spoke. With Lu Ming's example, he did not dare to underestimate first-level and second-level divine lords. What if there was another person like Lu Ming? After some discussion, the competition began. On the battle platform, intense battles broke out. It was very tragic and people were killed from time to time. However, it was naturally impossible for someone like Lu Ming to appear again. Almost no one could cross levels to fight. Some third-level divine lords defeated other opponents in a crushing manner. 10 days later, the competition ended, and the final 5 spots were all out. Lu Ming also saw the battles in these few days and more or less had an idea in his heart. Some proud sons of heaven were generally like Kudao. Their origin divine power factor had undergone 4 awakenings, mastering Origin's secret techniques, and some other powerful secret techniques. However, no one had severed the shackles using Origin's secret techniques, nor did he see the Origin divine power factor undergo 5 awakenings. It seemed that even in the Sacred Fire Saber sect, it was very difficult for those below 3rd-level divine lord to undergo 5 awakenings or sever the shackles of Origin's secret techniques. You all come with me, rest for a few days, then set off, Man Ning said. After that, Man Ning arranged accommodation for Lu Ming and the others. Soon 2 days passed. 2 days later, they set off and came to a planet not far from the wormhole, meeting up with the other 2 groups of people. However, as soon as Man Ning and the others arrived on this planet, Man Ning received the news and asked her to bring them for a gathering. Soon, Lu Ming saw the other 2 groups of people in a large open space. Just like them, there was an elite disciple of the Sacred Fire Saber sect leading 12 experts. Lu Ming swept a glance over and discovered that the other 2 groups of people were all 3rd-level divine lord existences. The 3 sides sized each other up, their eyes flickering. Although they were from the same sect, once they entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet and encountered fortuitous opportunities, it was very likely that they would become competitors and snatch resources from each other. 1. At this moment, ripples appeared in the space, and a few figures suddenly appeared in the air. A powerful aura filled the air. Quasi-Emperor! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The people who suddenly appeared were a white-haired old man and 2 burly men. What made Lu Ming's expression turn grave was that these 3 were all quasi-emperors. In the Sacred Fire Saber School, the Divine Emperor Realm Warriors were the top warriors. Normally, they wouldn't come out. If the Divine Emperor didn't come out, the Quasi-Emperor Realm was the strongest. Greetings to the 3 elders. Man Ning and the others bowed. No need to be so courteous. The white-haired old man in the middle waved his hand and said, "There is still more than a month before the departure time. I have called you here at the last minute because I have bad news to tell you." Bad news? Everyone's hearts sank and their expressions changed. They stared at the white-haired old man, waiting for his answer. The Sacred Sparrow tribe originally gave us 39 places, which is just enough to form 3 small teams. However, not long ago, the Sacred Sparrow tribe sent news that there are not enough places. They can only send 26 people. The white-haired old man said. 26 people. Everyone's hearts sank and their expressions turned ugly. There were originally 39 people, but now there were only 26 people left. This meant that 1/3 of the people would be eliminated. Elder, why did you suddenly reduce the number of places? Man Ning asked. They are afraid of competition. By reducing our number, the Sacred Sparrow tribe will face less competition. Humph, they have received benefits from us and yet they are playing such tricks. The white-haired old man snorted coldly and was very unhappy. However, the Sacred Sparrow tribe was a powerful tribe on the Eldritch 10,000 tribe list. No matter how unhappy they were, there was nothing they could do. Since you have already formed a team, we will not split you up. Our opinion is that only 2 of the 3 small teams can go. The other team can only stay. The white-haired old man said. Everyone's hearts sank again. Only 2 of the 3 small teams could go, and one of them would be eliminated. The 3 small teams sized each other up. At this moment, they were emitting a strong sense of hostility. None of them wanted to give up. The dragon race's mother planet was the mother planet of a huge tribe. It had been sealed for dozens of stellar years. Now that it had recovered, the opportunity was unimaginable. If they seized this opportunity, they might be able to soar into the sky and compete with the top elites of the Eldritch universe. Elder, I think that only the two strongest teams can go to the dragon race's mother planet. The stronger one is, the more opportunities they can seize and obtain. At this moment, a young man in a purple robe said. He was wearing a purple feather coat and looked rich. Xing, which team do you think is the weakest? The white-haired old man asked. It's obvious that Man Ning's team should be eliminated. Xing pointed at Man Ning's team. Xing, what did you say? My team is the weakest? Which eye did you use to see that? Man Ning said coldly. Like Man Ning, Xing was also one of the 3 elite disciples of the Sacred Fire Saber sect and the leader of a team. Which eye did you use to see that? I can see with both eyes that the strength of your team is uneven. Even a first-level Divine Lord trash is in it. It can be seen that your team's strength is really not that good. Xing revealed a disdainful smile and glanced at Lu Ming. The others were almost the same. They looked at Lu Ming and revealed a disdainful smile. Even a first-level Divine Lord could be selected. It could be seen that Man Ning's team was very weak. Xing, do you think you can judge a person's strength by cultivation alone? Although Lu Ming is only a first-level Divine Lord, his battle strength is very strong and won't lose to anyone. Man Ning said. Haha, very strong battle strength? Man Ning, you really know how to stick gold on your face? Xing laughed loudly, the disdain on his face becoming even thicker as he said, a first-level Divine Lord, how strong can he be? Man Ning, you wouldn't want to say that he's comparable to a third-level Divine Lord, right? If that's really the case, then it's not that he's strong, but that your people are too weak. Then you all don't need to participate anymore. Going is also courting death. You're talking nonsense. Man Ning had a furious look on his face. Elder, it's very clear that there's even a first-level Divine Lord in Man Ning's team. It can be seen how weak her team is. This way, it's very simple. Excluding her, our 2 teams can head to the dragon race's mother planet. Xing said. The reason why he targeted Man Ning was that the other team's strength was very shocking. He did not have confidence. Chapter 3562. The white-haired old man frowned. His thoughts were also biased toward Xing. There was even a first-level Divine Lord in Man Ning's team. It could be seen that his strength was really not much. Going to the dragon race's mother planet was also a waste of the quota. Strength is never based on words. At this moment, Lu Ming's indifferent voice sounded. Everyone's eyes gathered on Lu Ming. Kid, what do you mean by this? Xing's eyes narrowed as he stared at Lu Ming. Looks like your ability to understand is really not good. My words are already so clear, but I don't mind explaining it again. Strength can never be judged by words. Only by fighting can one judge strength. Lu Ming said indifferently. Lu Ming would not miss the opportunity to go to the dragon race's mother planet. If the other party wanted to exclude him, then he could only use his fists to fight his way in. You want to fight? Do you think you can compete with us with your first-level Divine Lord cultivation? Ha! Xing let out a disdainful sneer. He did not believe that a first-level Divine Lord could be that strong. Divine Lord realm was not God King or Celestial God realms. One could casually fight across realms. He was very clear about how difficult it was to fight across realms in the Divine Lord realm. Moreover, the people here were all considered geniuses. It was even more difficult to fight across realms. Elder, I think Lu Ming is right. Strength is not based on words, but through fighting. I request a battle to determine which team is the weakest. Man Ning cupped his fists toward the 3 elders. All right. This elder also has the same intention. Then let's have a team battle. The 3 teams will fight each other and have a team battle. The weakest team won't have to go to the dragon race's mother planet. Also, remember not to kill. The old man instructed. As the old man spoke, he slammed his palm on the ground. Rumble. The ground rumbled, and a huge stone battle platform emerged from the ground. This battle platform is about 1,000 miles long and wide. You guys go up and fight. Those who fall off the battle platform lose. The old man said. Xing, let's fight. Man Ning looked at Xing with high fighting spirit. With a swoosh, Man Ning stepped onto the battle platform first. Then, Lu Ming and the others stepped onto the battle platform one after another. They were very confident because they knew Lu Ming's combat strength. They could not use an ordinary first-level Divine Lord to measure Lu Ming's combat strength. Zi Ying and the rest dared to underestimate Lu Ming. They were destined to suffer a great loss. Just like Ku Dao. Zi Ying shouted and rushed to the fighting ring. Zi Ying said coldly. He was full of confidence. As soon as his words left his mouth, he dashed out and charged toward Lu Ming and the rest. Zi Ying, your opponent is me. Man Ning shouted coldly and also rushed out, charging toward Zi Ying. Two rays of saber light flashed and tore the void apart. They collided fiercely and the saber light swept out in all directions. Zi Ying and Man Ning's figures trembled as they retreated repeatedly. But in the next moment, they fought again. The sky was filled with saber light and the powerful aura formed a terrible pressure that spread in all directions. They are stronger, but their strength is still limited. Lu Ming observed for a while and had a rough idea of Zi Ying and Man Ning's strength. Although the two of them were stronger than the others, they were not much stronger. The Origin Divine Power Factor was still 4 times awakened and the Origin Secret Technique had not severed the shackles. It was not easy to sever the shackles of the Origin Secret Technique. The second prince of the Taishu dynasty had cultivated for 2 stellar years and reached the 9th level Divine Lord realm. But he had only severed 1 shackle. Back in the primordial Divine Spirit world, although they were all below the Divine Lord realm, those who entered the primordial Divine Spirit world were all geniuses of various races who cultivated the primordial Divine Body. Some of them were very talented, but only a few of them had severed the shackles of the Origin Secret Technique. Moreover, in the primordial Divine Spirit world, in those famous mountains, whether it was cultivating the Origin Divine Power Factor or the Origin Secret Technique, it was easier than outside. However, only a few people could do it. If Lu Ming had not had a series of fortuitous encounters, it would not have been so easy to sever the shackles of the Origin Secret Technique. Boom! Zi Ying and Man Ning were fighting, and Lu Ming and the others were also fighting. More than 20 people on both sides were fighting. Kid, a first-level Divine Lord trash, get down. A black-faced youth sneered and rushed toward Lu Ming, slashing his saber at Lu Ming. This youth had a 3rd-level Divine Lord cultivation and was very strong. However, in Lu Ming's eyes, it was not enough. Looks like I have to show some of my strength. Otherwise, if I keep being looked down upon, it won't be good for me when I go to the dragon race's mother planet. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. He realized that sometimes, it was not good to be too low-key. When it was time to be high-profile, it was time to be high-profile. In an instant, the battle character art was activated. 11 types of divine power erupted and the Tyrant God's spear appeared in his hand. The Tyrant God's spear vibrated. At this moment, Lu Ming directly activated the Tyrant God's spear's power after severing the shackles. A terrifying aura erupted from Lu Ming's body, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Then the spear swept out. Bang! Without any surprise, the black-faced youth's saber light shattered. The spear did not stop, sweeping toward the black-faced youth. Ah, your Origin Secret Technique severed the shackles. The black-faced youth let out a horrified roar. He had almost been frightened to death. At the critical moment, he used his saber to block. His saber was a monarch-grade divine artifact. Moreover, his Origin Secret Technique was also a saber that was fused into the monarch-grade divine artifact. However, when the Tyrant God's spear struck the saber violently trembled and shattered. The black-faced youth's body flew out of the stage like a cannonball. He continued flying for over 10,000 miles before crashing into the ground. He vomited large mouthfuls of blood. He had been heavily injured. One move. In just one move, the black-faced youth had been instantly killed. Of course, the black-faced youth hadn't died because Lu Ming had shown mercy. There was a rule before that stated that he could not kill. What? Seeing this scene, the others were greatly shocked. It wasn't just Zi Ying's people. Man Ning's people, the other team, and the white-haired elders group all widened their eyes. He had severed the shackles. Lu Ming's origin secret technique had actually severed the shackles and activated a terrifying power. Scram! Before anyone could react, Lu Ming had already charged over. He was invincible. No one could block one move from Lu Ming. The tyrant god's spear swept out, and one figure after another was sent flying out of the stage. Chapter 3563. Almost in an instant, Lu Ming swept out 11 spears. Then, 11 figures flew out of the fighting ring. No one could block Lu Ming's move. 11 people flew out almost at the same time and smashed onto the ground. The 12 people brought by Ziying were sent flying just like that. Only Man Ning's people were left on the fighting ring. Ziying and Man Ning were fighting in the air. Seeing such a situation, Ziying's eyes almost popped out. He was dumbfounded and stunned. Thereafter, he was slashed by Man Ning's saber and was sent flying with severe injuries. He had yet to come back to his senses. His eyes were widened and he stared intently at Lu Ming. His eyes were filled with puzzlement, horror, and other emotions. Man Ning's heart also trembled violently a few times. She knew that she still underestimated Lu Ming. Lu Ming's strength was stronger than she imagined. Taking a few deep breaths, Man Ning calmed herself down. First-level Divine Lord, so what? Man Ning stood in the air and stared at Ziying. His disdainful voice came out. Ziying spat out a mouthful of blood, his face burning. Didn't he look down on first-level Divine Lords before? He thought that Man Ning's divine power was uneven. What was the result? It was a slap in the face. His people were all killed by Lu Ming in an instant. With such strength, he could easily crush him. He looked down on Lu Ming. Was he qualified? Amazing! The 3 elders of Sacred Fire Saber sect were also full of amazement. Lu Xian, it's our turn next. At this time, Man Ning looked at the leader of another team and issued a challenge. At this moment, Man Ning was in high spirits and full of confidence. With Lu Ming here, what was there to be afraid of? Directly crush. The leader of the other team was called Lu Xian. At this moment, his face was ugly. He forced a smile and said, "Junior Sister Man Ning, I didn't expect that there was such a genius in your team. I was wrong. I admit defeat in this battle." Lu Xian was straightforward and directly admitted defeat. What a joke, to go up and be defeated. He was not so stupid. In any case, 2 out of the 3 teams could go, as long as they defeated Ziying's team. Previously, Lu Xian's team had always been considered the strongest of the 3 teams. He still had some confidence in defeating Ziying. Alright, the first team to win is Manning's team. They have earned the right to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. The white-haired old man announced. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. It was finally settled. Now, Lu Xian and Ziying, it's your turn to compete. Whichever side loses will be eliminated. Ziying, for the sake of fairness, I'll give you time to heal your injuries. Hurry up and heal your injuries. The white-haired old man said. Ziying's expression was unsightly. The overall strength of Lu Xian's team was above his. This was also the reason why he provoked Man Ning in the beginning. As long as he defeated Man Ning, even if he couldn't defeat Lu Xian, he would still be able to obtain the opportunity to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. But now, he could only face Lu Xian. Focus on healing. Ziying shouted loudly. She took out a divine pill and swallowed it, focusing on healing her injuries. He was unwilling to give up just like that. He still wanted to give it a try. Ziying and his people focused on healing their injuries. Since there was still some time before they set off, everyone waited quietly. After a few days, Ziying and his people finally recovered from their injuries and returned to their peak condition. Of course, this was also the reason why Lu Ming didn't hit them too hard. Otherwise, they wouldn't have recovered in a few days. After their injuries were healed, the 2 sides stepped onto the battle platform and the battle broke out. Although Lu Xian's team was stronger overall, there was a limit to their strength. The battle between the 2 sides was very fierce. If it weren't for the rule that no killing was allowed, someone would have died. The 2 sides fought for more than half an hour before the outcome was decided. In the end, Lu Xian's team was slightly better and defeated Ziying's team. In the end, Man Ning and Lu Xian's teams obtained the opportunity to go to the wormhole. There was still more than a month left. They would stay nearby and wait for the time to come. After that, everything was calm. There were no accidents. More than a month passed quickly. Outside the wormhole, Lu Ming and the others gathered. Remember, when you enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, you must keep a low profile and be careful. This time, countless forces in the primitive universe will send people there. It is a great opportunity and also a great danger. You must grasp it well. The white-haired elder warned solemnly. Yes, elder. Everyone nodded. Go. The white-haired elder waved his hand. Lu Ming and the others set off and entered the wormhole. After entering the wormhole, they soon arrived in an unfamiliar starry sky. People of the Sacred Fire Saber sect, follow us. Lu Ming and the rest had yet to size up their surroundings when they heard a voice. They looked forward and saw a group of more than a dozen people. These people were all wearing wings. Their eyes were sharp and their auras were terrifying. They gave off an unfathomable feeling. Quasi-emperors. Are these people all quasi-emperors? Lu Ming was shocked. He understood that this should be the territory of the Sacred Sparrow tribe. However, he was still shocked to see more than a dozen quasi-emperors at a glance. Lu Ming, the Sacred Sparrow tribe, is a large tribe on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. For such a force, quasi-emperors are nothing. Even divine emperors are nothing. Bone Demon's voice sounded in his sea of consciousness. Even divine emperors are nothing? Lu Ming's heart trembled violently. The only divine emperor he had seen so far was the Immortal Demon Lord. Moreover, he was a severely injured divine emperor. In the Sacred Sparrow tribe, divine emperors were nothing. It was terrifying. But soon, Lu Ming felt relieved. After all, they were a powerful force on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. The primitive universe was vast and there were countless forces and races. Those that could be listed on the primitive 10,000 tribes list were the top races in the primitive universe. It was normal for them to be powerful. Seniors, we are from the Sacred Fire Saber sect. Man Ning and Lu Xian nodded hurriedly, trembling with fear. Although the Sacred Fire Saber sect was a powerful force, they were like ants in front of the Sacred Sparrow tribe. It was normal for Lu Xian and Man Ning to lose their composure in front of the elites of the Sacred Sparrow tribe. I know that you are from the Sacred Fire Saber sect. We are waiting for you here. Come with us. There are also some people from other forces. When everyone is here, we will set off for the dragon race's mother planet. A middle-aged man from the Sacred Sparrow tribe said calmly. However, Lu Ming saw disdain and arrogance in his eyes. The large tribes on the primitive 10,000 tribes list had the right to be arrogant in front of some small forces. They would only speak with the same attitude when facing other tribes that were also on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. Lu Xian, Man Ning, and the others trembled with fear. Lu Ming did not mind. The group followed the Sacred Sparrow tribe and arrived at a small wormhole. The Sacred Sparrow tribe was a huge force and occupied a huge territory. Even if they used teleportation to travel, it would take a long time. Therefore, the Sacred Sparrow tribe basically used wormholes to travel. Chapter 3564. For a major force like the Sacred Sparrow tribe, they would even pay a huge price to invite the space-time spirit rats to open a wormhole for them. The almighty among the space-time spirit mice had the ability to revert to their ancestors and could open fixed wormholes. In the regions of these great forces and races, the wormholes were like intersecting networks that connected the various regions. Otherwise, just traveling alone would take an unknown amount of time. With the wormhole, transportation was much more convenient. Through the wormhole, they soon arrived at a bustling planet. They settled down on the planet and waited. Without a doubt, the planet of the Sacred Sparrow tribe was even more bustling with true experts. There were all kinds of treasures that Lu Ming had never seen before. Lu Ming was extremely envious. Lu Ming went out for a stroll and bought some things. Brother Lu. When Lu Ming returned to his residence after buying some things, he bumped into Man Ning. Man Ning seemed to be looking for him. Miss Man Ning, why are you looking for me? Lu Ming smiled. Brother Lu, do you know about the dreamy sacred jade? Man Ning asked with a smile. Dreamy sacred jade? What's that? Lu Ming asked curiously. It was his first time hearing about the dreamy sacred jade. This is it, Man Ning said. The next moment, her glabella lit up. A translucent, palm-sized jade token flew out from her glabella. This is the dreamy sacred jade. What's so special about it? Lu Ming asked. He could feel that the dreamy sacred jade was special, but he couldn't tell what it was. The dreamy sacred jade is refined by the dreamy heavenly palace. Man Ning explained with a smile. Dreamy heavenly palace. Lu Ming was shocked. The current primitive universe was in the era of the heavenly palace. The heavenly palace ruled the primitive universe and all races submitted to it. Legend had it that there wasn't only one heavenly palace, but many different heavenly palaces. Obviously, the illusory heavenly palace was one of the heavenly palaces. The treasures refined by the dreamy heavenly palace were definitely extraordinary. As expected, Man Ning continued to explain, as long as it is bound to the Dream Jade token, anyone who has the Dream Jade token, no matter where in the universe, will be able to exchange information. What? Lu Ming couldn't help but widen his eyes. No matter which corner of the universe they were in, they could exchange information. This function was too heaven-defying. Compared to the voice transmission jade token, it was many times stronger. In fact, the desolate universe was too big. No matter what grade the voice transmission jade talisman was, it was useless. The distance was too far, and it was impossible to send a message directly. However, this dreamy heavenly jade was actually able to directly communicate with one another. It was truly heaven-defying. In the Taishu dynasty, he had never heard of such a thing. The Taishu dynasty was still too backward. Brother Lu, this is only one of the basic functions of the dreamy heavenly jade. The dreamy heavenly jade has many other functions. For example, there is a public area on the dreamy heavenly jade. If you send a message there, other people who have the dreamy heavenly jade will be able to see it. For example, there are various secret techniques, divine skills, and cultivation experience on the dreamy heavenly jade. Man Ning explained. Lu Ming's eyes became brighter and brighter. This kind of treasure was really mysterious. He couldn't wait to have one. Miss Man Ning, where can I buy this dreamy heavenly jade? Lu Ming asked. The dreamy heavenly jade is very rare even in the sacred fire saber sect. It is a precious treasure and not many people have it. However, you can still buy it in the sacred sparrow tribe. However, I happen to have one left. Why don't I give it to Brother Lu? After saying that, Man Ning's hand shone and another jade token appeared. It was indeed the dreamy heavenly jade. It was emitting a dreamy light. Give it to me? Lu Ming was surprised. A treasure like the dreamy heavenly jade was rare even in a big force like the sacred fire saber sect. However, no one had heard of it in the Taishu dynasty. One could imagine that it was very valuable. Man Ning actually gave him a piece directly? Brother Lu is very talented and powerful. When we enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, I am afraid we will need Brother Lu's help. Man Ning smiled and said directly. She was very direct and spoke her mind. Obviously, she wanted to befriend Lu Ming. After all, Lu Ming's strength was unfathomable. Alright, when we enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, if there is a need, Lu Ming will definitely not sit back and do nothing. Of course, if it is too dangerous, please forgive Lu Ming for not being able to help. Lu Ming said. He was also very direct. If he had the ability, he would help. If he didn't, there was nothing he could do. Of course. Man Ning smiled and handed the dreamy heavenly jade to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took it without hesitation. To be honest, such a treasure was really tempting. How do I use it? Lu Ming asked. Just drip a drop of blood on it and it will be bound. In this way, no one else can use it except you. Man Ning said. Lu Ming nodded and squeezed a drop of blood from his finger. He dripped it on the dreamy heavenly jade. Immediately, the dreamy heavenly jade absorbed the blood completely. At this time, Lu Ming and the dreamy heavenly jade had a strange connection. With a thought, the dreamy heavenly jade flew into his glabella and floated in his sea of consciousness. Then, Lu Ming's mind moved again, and an invisible picture appeared in Lu Ming's mind. Please name it. 3 big words appeared on the picture. Name it? Lu Ming was surprised. Brother Lu, the dreamy heavenly jade will form a dreamy space. The public area on it can be seen by everyone, so basically no one will use their real name. They will use a fake name to avoid their information being exposed. As if she knew what Lu Ming saw, Man Ning explained. I see. Lu Ming nodded. Then what name should he give it? Along the way, I have an affinity with dragons. Let's call it Dragon Emperor. But now that the Divine Dragon clan has been exterminated, the name Dragon Emperor is too arrogant. It will probably be targeted. Forget it, let's change it. Let's call it Bamboo Moo. Several thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. The name Bamboo Moo was purely a flash of inspiration. There was no other reason. Then, Lu Ming used his spiritual sense to write the 2 words Bamboo Moo on the picture. Name successful. The scene immediately changed, and different diagrams appeared one after another. These were different areas, such as the public area, the secret technique area, the divine pill area, the secret area, and so on. Let's look at the secret technique area. Lu Ming's mind moved, and then the small picture in the secret technique area rapidly enlarged and turned into another picture. Secret technique, meteor flying moon. The arrow is like a meteor, piercing through the starry sky. Secret technique, phoenix burning heaven. The fire attribute secret technique can burn the starry sky. All kinds of secret techniques appeared in front of Lu Ming's eyes. However, each secret technique had a price behind it. If you wanted to see it, you had to buy it. And the price was shockingly high, and it was measured in monarch pills. Lu Ming looked at it briefly and was not interested. Now that he had mastered 11 kinds of secret techniques, he had no interest in cultivating other ordinary secret techniques. Chapter 3565. Miss Manning, these secret techniques need to be purchased. How do I buy them? How do I pay for them with divine crystals or monarch pills? Lu Ming asked curiously. The dreamy heavenly palace has branches in many places. You can go to those branches to pay for some divine crystals or monarch pills, then you can spend them in the dreamy space of the dreamy divine jade. Manning said. Lu Ming suddenly realized that this was a bit like the contribution points of the sections. Many sects' identity tokens had contribution points in them, and they could be used to pay for them directly. Then, Lu Ming activated his spiritual sense and entered the public area. Suddenly, messages appeared one after another. We have arrived at the Dragon Clan's mother planet, but the seal is strong. We still have 5 years before we can enter. Analysis of the weakness of the seal on the Dragon Clan's mother planet. A series of messages appeared. This is amazing, really amazing. With this dreamy divine jade, won't I be able to know the big news and events in every corner of the primitive universe in an instant? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. This was definitely a supreme treasure. The Heavenly Palace's methods were really shocking. The primitive universe is vast and endless, and there are countless races. It is said that some races have developed a method called technology, which is quite mysterious. I heard that the refinement of the dreamy divine jade was inspired by technology. Man Jean explained with a smile. Thank you, Miss Manning. Lu Ming cupped his fists, expressing his sincere gratitude. With the dreamy divine jade, he would soon be able to integrate into the vast universe. He would no longer be clueless and ignorant. He wanted to go back to his room immediately and study it carefully. Brother Lu, you can study it first. If you don't understand anything, ask me. By the way, let's add each other's information. This way, we can communicate with each other. Manning said. Lu Ming nodded. Lu Ming understood this point. For example, the communication jade talisman had to leave messages with each other before they could communicate. The two of them added each other's information, and then Man Ning left. Lu Ming couldn't wait to go back to his room and began to study the dreamy divine jade. In this way, they waited for a few months, and Lu Ming finally understood the usage of the dreamy divine jade. It was time to set off. A sacred sparrow race expert led them to a huge wormhole. This wormhole was the wormhole to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Lu Ming saw a large number of young experts. There were at least 10,000 people. These youths had cultivation levels at or below the 3rd level of the Divine Lord realm. They were all universe-level factions like the Sacred Fire Saber sect that needed to borrow the wormhole of the Sacred Sparrow race. Swoosh swoosh. Swoosh. Swoosh swoosh. This group of young people was wearing feather clothes of various colors. There were both men and women. Some of them looked cold and arrogant, while others looked calm. However, all of them had powerful auras. There were several hundred of them. Swoosh divine swoosh swoosh. Swoosh swoosh. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Swoosh 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 swoosh. These youths were all elites of the Sacred Sparrow race. There were actually several hundred 3rd-level divine lords. One had to know, back then in the Taishu dynasty, there were only 2 people who reached level 1 divine lord. As for the Sacred Sparrow race, there were hundreds of 3rd-level divine lords. How many 1st-level and 2nd-level divine lords were there? And how many were 3rd-level divine lords and above? There was no comparison at all. Any prodigy from the Sacred Sparrow race would be a top prodigy in the Taishu dynasty. It said that some powerful races have the blood of primitive gods flowing in their veins. They have powerful talents and rich resources. With the accumulation of resources, their cultivation is naturally stronger. Thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. The geniuses of the Sacred Sparrow tribe were certainly talented, but their resources were also astonishing. They were not something that the Taishu dynasty could compare with. It was also reasonable for them to be powerful. I heard that the Sacred Sparrow race is only ranked around 9,000 on the prehistoric 10,000 races list. Yet they are already so powerful. I wonder how many geniuses there are in the prehistoric universe. Thinking of this, Lu Ming was not discouraged. Instead, he became excited. The more prodigies there were, the better. Only then would it be exciting and motivating for him to constantly improve. Back then, in the primitive divine spirit world, there were many prodigies from various races in the prehistoric universe. However, there were many limitations. Only divine kings could enter. Once they broke through to the Divine Lord realm, they would be sent away. Moreover, only prodigies who cultivated the primitive divine body could enter. Therefore, the number of prodigies one could meet was very limited. In the vast prehistoric universe, there were countless races and forces. Thus, there were many prodigies. That was what was truly exciting. Now, follow us to the dragon race's mother planet through this wormhole. A Sacred Sparrow race prodigy said. Then, the Sacred Sparrow race took the lead and flew into the wormhole, disappearing into it. Then, Lu Ming and the others followed and disappeared into the wormhole. Not long after, they appeared in an unfamiliar galaxy. At this point, Lu Ming's blood suddenly flowed at a faster speed. This place gives me a very strange feeling. It's very comfortable. It seems that we are not far from the dragon race's mother planet. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Now that he had a drop of primitive divine blood in his body, it was the primitive divine blood of the primitive divine dragon. It was normal for him to feel close to everything about the dragon race. This is the star sector where the dragon race's mother planet is located. The dragon race's mother planet is in the center of this star sector. Follow us, but we are only responsible for bringing you to the dragon race's mother planet. After that, you can do whatever you want. It has nothing to do with the Sacred Sparrow race. A Sacred Sparrow race prodigy said. Everyone nodded. They naturally understood. Forces like the Sacred Fire Saber sect had bribed the Sacred Sparrow race. Therefore, the Sacred Sparrow race would bring them to the dragon race's mother planet. Of course, they would not care about what happened after that. The Sacred Sparrow race prodigy led the way and flew forward. After a few days, a huge planet appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. Dong dong dong. At that moment, Lu Ming felt his heartbeat quicken. He knew that this was the dragon race's mother planet. It was huge, too huge. The dragon race's mother planet was the largest planet that Lu Ming had ever seen. It was at least 10,000 times larger than an ordinary planet with life. The huge planet floated in the distant starry sky, exuding an ancient aura. It was as if there were many primitive divine spirits sitting there. Even though it was far away, Lin Fan could feel a strong pressure. Moreover, There was only a sun around the dragon race's mother planet. There were no other planets. Along the way, Lu Ming heard about it from others. The war that killed the dragon race had been very tragic. Other than the dragon race's mother planet and a huge star beside it, all the other planets around it had been destroyed. The surroundings of the dragon race's mother planet were empty. There were no other planets, not even a single planet. There were only a lot of meteorites floating in the distance. Chapter 3566. These little birds are here too. Hee great. Shall we catch a few to try? At that moment, a few snickers came from another direction. Then, several figures flew over. They were also young men, and there were several hundred of them. They were all dressed in black robes, and their eyes were cold, like venomous snakes. Glacier Python Tribe. Many of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe's sky prides had cold looks in their eyes. So it's the Glacier Python Tribe on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. There was a section in the illusory sacred jade that recorded all kinds of information. For example, information on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board, various perilous and secret grounds, etc. This information did not require divine gems or monarch elixirs to purchase. Lu Ming had browsed through a lot during this period of time and had a good understanding of the powerful tribes on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board. The Glacier Python Tribe was ranked in the 9,000th place on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board, which was similar to the Sacred Sparrow Tribe. However, the Glacier Python Tribe and the Sacred Sparrow Tribe were sworn enemies. That was because the Glacier Python Tribe loved to devour the sacred sparrows. Throughout history, many members of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe had been devoured by the Glacier Python Tribe. At that moment, the young men from the Glacier Python Tribe were looking at the young men from the Sacred Sparrow Tribe with glowing eyes. It was as though they had seen delicious food. You little birds are here too. Very good. Become our delicacies. A young man from the Glacier Python Tribe sneered. His eyes were burning with passion. You are the ones who will die. A sky pride from the Sacred Sparrow Tribe shouted. His killing intent was cold as he stepped out and was about to attack. That was because he had a relative who had been devoured by the Glacier Python Tribe. When he saw the Glacier Python Tribe, he wanted to kill it. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. A young man from the Glacier Python Tribe stepped out and charged at the sky pride from the Sacred Sparrow Tribe. When the two of them collided in the void, there was a loud explosion. Boom! The starry sky shook and the two of them retreated. There was no doubt that both of them were third-level divine lords. Little bird, I'm going to devour you. The young man of the Glacier Python clan revealed a ruthless look on his face. He let out a furious roar, and his body started to transform into a gigantic python. This giant python was at least tens of thousands of meters long. It opened its mouth and tried to swallow the youth of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe. The python's mouth was like a black hole, emitting a terrifying suction force. The young man of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe let out a long cry. His body also transformed into a huge sacred sparrow. He flapped his wings and slashed towards the giant glacier python like a heavenly blade. The two of them fought fiercely, and energy overflowed everywhere. The other members of the Holy Sparrow Tribe and the Glacier Python Tribe did not attack. They were already close to the territory of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. There were probably many geniuses from large factions in the vicinity of this starry sky. If they were to start a war now, both sides would suffer great losses and they would probably be annihilated by the other races. Very strong. Lu Ming observed carefully. The Holy Sparrow Tribe and the Glacier Python Tribe lived up to their names on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. In a battle of the same level, perhaps no one in the Sacred Fire Saber sect could match him. Even the strongest Man Ning and Lu Xian could not. This was an innate talent. These races had powerful bloodlines that ordinary races could not compare to. The two sides exchanged a few hundred blows. In the end, they coughed up blood and retreated. There was no clear winner. You little birds. When we enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, we'll annihilate all of you. The young man of the Glacier Python Tribe said coldly. We don't know who will be annihilated by then. The young man of the Holy Sparrow Tribe replied forcefully. The two sides did not continue to fight. After a short standoff, the glacier python tribe flew in another direction. Although the dragon clan's mother planet has been revived, the seal of the 10,000 dragon seals is still extremely strong. Only a few weak spots can be penetrated. Moreover, it requires a fixed period of time. We can only enter when the seal is at its weakest. Now is not the time. We still need another 5 years. Now that we have brought you to the dragon clan's mother planet, you can move about on your own. Don't follow us. A young man of the Holy Sparrow tribe said to Lu Ming and the rest. After arriving at the dragon clan's mother planet, the Holy Sparrow tribe naturally did not want to bring Lu Ming and the rest along. In their opinion, Lu Ming and the rest were just burdens. Having said that, the people of the Holy Sparrow tribe flew ahead. Let's go! Let's go! The sky prides of forces like the Sacred Fire Saber sect also left. Some of them flew in the direction of the dragon clan's mother planet to check out the situation. Some of them flew in other directions and found a meteorite to settle down near the dragon clan's mother planet. They would wait for 5 years to enter the dragon clan's mother planet. Lu Ming had learned a lot about the situation of the dragon clan's mother planet from the illusory sacred jade. Back then, the dragon clan's mother planet had been sealed with the 10,000 dragon seals by the last batch of elites of the divine dragon clan. This seal was extremely strong. Even the top elites on the primitive 10,000 tribe board would find it difficult to enter. Now that the dragon clan's mother planet had been revived, the 10,000 dragon seals had begun to weaken. However, even if they had weakened, it was not that easy to enter. Now, some powerful forces had only found 18 weak spots. They were scattered in different parts of the dragon clan's mother planet. Furthermore, these 18 weak points weren't weak all the time. After some experts had experimented with them, they had concluded that every 33 years, the seals of the weak points would be at their weakest. Only then would they be able to enter. Moreover, the strongest seal would only allow third-level divine lords to enter. If an even stronger expert tried to barge in, they would be turned into ashes in an instant. Now, the 18 weak spots were in the hands of 18 powerful races. Moreover, there was another interesting point. Perhaps it was because the divine dragon clan had been annihilated. Therefore, the dragon clan that had sealed the 10,000 dragon seals were filled with resentment. They were extremely repulsed by the powerful races on the myriad tribe board. The stronger the race, the greater the repulsion. Now, the top 100 races on the primitive 10,000 tribe board could not enter at all. Even those below third-level divine lords could not enter. They could only enter when the seals were even weaker. Therefore, the top 100 races on the primitive 10,000 tribe board had already given up after a few attempts. The elites and sky prides of these races had already left. In other words, the races that appeared in this starry sky were all races ranked below the top 100 on the primitive 10,000 tribe board. This information was obtained by Lu Ming from the illusory sacred jade. With the illusory sacred jade, many things were really a lot more convenient. Soon, only the 26 people from the Sacred Fire Saber sect were left in this area. Should we go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet to investigate first or find a place to stay? Someone asked. It's not time yet. We can't enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet at all. It's useless to investigate. Let's find a place to stay first. Manning said. Everyone nodded and then flew in a direction. They found a huge meteorite nearby and landed on it. Chapter 3567. Lu Xian's team also followed Lu Ming's team and landed on the meteorite. However, they did not follow them but landed on the other side of the meteorite, separated by a long distance. Although they came from Sacred Fire Saber sect, they were competitors. After landing on the meteorite, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and began to look at the illusory heavenly jade in his sea of consciousness. There was a lot of useful information in the public area of the illusory heavenly jade. During this period of time, the attention of the major races in the primitive universe was focused on the divine dragon race's mother planet. Therefore, most of the topics revolved around the divine dragon race's mother planet. After browsing for a while, Lu Ming learned some useful information. Those 18 weak points were now in the hands of 18 powerful races. They were strictly controlled. If one wanted to pass through the 18 weak points, one would have to pay a large amount of divine crystals or monarch pills to those races. Lu Ming couldn't help but sigh. In this world, strength was the absolute truth. It was the same everywhere. The dragon race's mother planet belonged to the dragon race and not other races. However, those 18 races occupied the 18 weak points. If others wanted to pass through, they would have to pay a fee. It was because they were strong. If they were weak, they would have been destroyed long ago. If they were strong, others could only listen obediently. At the same time, Lu Ming learned that these weak points only appeared once every 33 years. Last time, the major races had already sent people in, but it seemed that they suffered heavy losses. Most of them did not pass and died. Even at the weakest time, it was not easy to pass through. It was very dangerous. However, after another 33 years, some experts speculated that this time, it should be better. It was not as dangerous as the last time. It should be easier to pass through. The dragon race's mother planet actually appeared at the beginning of the world and gave birth to 49 primordial divine dragons. It's really unimaginable. Lu Ming sighed. In the public area, someone spread the origin of the dragon race's mother planet. Lu Ming was shocked. Some powerful races had mother planets that were born at the beginning of the world and had given birth to primordial divine spirits. It was incomparably mysterious. The divine dragon race was extremely powerful. At their peak, they could be ranked in the top 5 of the universe. The dragon race's mother planet had given birth to 49 primordial divine dragons. It was extremely terrifying. No wonder so many people wanted to come to the Dragon Clan's mother planet to look for opportunities. How many opportunities could there be in a Dragon Clan's mother planet that had nurtured over 49 primeval divine dragons and developed for countless years? More importantly, it had been sealed for dozens of stellar years. How many treasures would there be? Lu Ming's heart was also burning with passion. The primordial divine body that he cultivated was the primordial divine dragon body, which required him to continuously condense primordial divine blood. If he could obtain treasures related to the primordial divine dragon from the Dragon Clan's mother planet, it would be of great help to him. Moreover, Mid-Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing might be on the Dragon Clan's home planet. He had to go there. Wait, the Dragon Clan's mother planet has such a strong seal. If Shao Qing is in the Dragon Clan's mother planet, how did she get in? Lu Ming frowned as he thought of this possibility. Even the top experts of the Great Desolate 10,000 Races ranking could not enter, but Xian Yanqing could? Mid-Autumn Moon had entered through the teleportation platform of a secret base of the Dragon Clan. That could be explained. But what about Xian Yanqing? However, if Xian Yanqing was not on the Dragon Clan's mother planet, why did the map in the Jade token that he had left him point to this place? Moreover, it was left behind thousands of years ago. What was the secret behind this? Lu Ming could not figure it out. He could only wait until he entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet and slowly investigate. Boom! At this moment, a meteorite in the distance exploded. Then, divine light shone and illuminated the starry sky. Someone was fighting. Lu Ming, Man Ning, and the rest were alarmed. They looked in that direction. They were far away, but the starry sky was vast and unobstructed. With Lu Ming and the others' eyesight, they could still see some of it. Many figures were fighting and killing each other. It was very tragic and people were dying constantly. In the primitive universe, there are some races and forces that are mortal enemies. Once you encounter them, a war will break out easily. For example, the Sacred Sparrow tribe and the Glacier Python tribe. Man Ning explained with a solemn expression. The others were the same. Now, in the galaxy around the Dragon Clan's mother planet, countless geniuses had gathered. If they were not careful, a war would break out. They had to be careful. Otherwise, they would be killed before they even entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet. That would be a waste. After fighting for a while, both sides suffered heavy losses. As if they were afraid, the war finally ended and they retreated. However, such a war was unavoidable. Not long after, a war broke out in another part of the starry sky. It was a tragic battle. Just like that, from time to time, a great war would break out in the starry sky. In less than half a year, Lu Ming and the others had stayed and watched dozens of great battles. But on this day, a scream suddenly came from the meteorite where Lu Ming and the others were. This made Man Ning and the others' hair stand on end. They all stood up and formed a circle. They circulated their divine power and cautiously stared in the direction of the sound. At this moment, a few more screams were heard. They were incomparably mournful. "It's from Lu Xian and the others." A young man spoke. His face was pale and cold sweat was flowing down. That direction was where Lu Xian and the others were staying. "Let's go. We're leaving this meteorite." Man Ning made a prompt decision and was about to lead the others away. However, at this moment, a stream of light flew towards them rapidly. It was Lu Xian. They immediately saw that the stream of light was wrapped around Lu Xian. At this moment, Lu Xian's face was filled with fear. He rushed towards Lu Ming and the others frantically and roared, "Man Ning, save me, quickly save me. Damn it, this guy wants to drag us in." Man Ning roared. Lu Xian flew towards them and roared, trying to divert the trouble. However, at this moment, an even more shocking scene appeared. Lu Xian's body suddenly emitted a dense black light. Then, his body stiffened, and rays of black light rushed out from his body. Lu Xian screamed miserably. His glabella shone, and his soul rushed out along with the black light. Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Lu Xian's soul was about to be extracted. This was too strange. "Save me, Man Ning, Lu Ming, save me." Lu Xian screamed crazily. His soul struggled violently, but it was useless. The next moment, his soul completely flew out and was caught by a skinny young man in a black robe. Lu Xian's soul was extracted, and his body fell to the ground like a pile of mud. "Another good soul. Hee, not bad, not bad." The skinny man sneered. He took out a wooden jar and put Lu Xian's soul inside. "You're from the Wu people?" Man Ning asked with a pale face. "You have good taste." "We're from the Wu people." A cold voice sounded. It was not the skinny young man from before. It came from another direction. Chapter 3568. A few more black-robed young men appeared in another direction. There were 4 of them in total. Together with the previous one, there were 5 of them. Their attire was very similar. They were all wearing black robes with strange patterns embroidered on them. They were all skinny as if they were just skin and bones. Black light constantly emanated from their bodies, making them look very evil. "Wu people." Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. This was the second time he had seen the Wu people. Back in the Taishu dynasty, a quasi-emperor of the Wu people helped the barbarians to fight against the Taishu dynasty, but he was stopped by Blue Merchant with his soul power. Later on, the barbarian emperor offended the Wu people and was killed by the Wu people. The faces of Man Ning and the others were extremely ugly, and they were also extremely terrified. The sorcerer tribe was a very famous tribe in the untainted universe. It was not only because the sorcerer tribe was extremely powerful and ranked high on the list of 10,000 tribes in the untainted universe, but also because the sorcerer tribe's means were extremely strange and terrifying. The Wu people often extracted the souls of other creatures to cultivate. They were notorious for that. Of course, the people of the sorcerer tribe knew their limits. They would not offend those tribes that were stronger than them. They would only offend those tribes that were weaker than them. Therefore, for countless years, not only did the sorcerer tribe live well, they also became stronger and stronger. Obviously, Lu Xian and the others had already had their souls extracted by the Wu people. It was their turn now. Man Ning and the others felt their hearts sink. "What should we do? What should we do?" Someone's voice was trembling. His body was trembling nonstop, and his face was deathly pale. "Let's go." A young man couldn't stand it anymore. He rushed up and tried to escape. "You want to escape? How naive." One of the Wu people took out a small drum and hit it lightly. Then, the young man who was trying to escape trembled and almost fell from the sky. Then, the Wu people young man waved his hand and 3 puppets flew out at an astonishing speed toward the young man. I'll kill you." The young man from the Sacred Fire Saber sect roared. His saber light soared and pierced through the starry sky. The saber light split into three and slashed at the three wooden puppets. However, when the young man from the Sacred Fire Saber sect released his saber light, the young man from the Wu people hit the drum several times. The young man from the Sacred Fire Saber sect shook violently. His glabella glowed, and even the saber light dimmed. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. Obviously, this was a soul attack that could affect the soul, just like the Wu person who had appeared in the Taishu dynasty. This kind of method was somewhat similar to the people of the Jiuyou heavenly residents of the Taishu dynasty, but the degree of exquisiteness was far beyond that of the people of the Jiuyou heavenly residents. At this moment, the saber light dimmed. The three puppets rushed over and entered the body of the young man from the Holy Fire Saber sect. The young man screamed in agony. His body emitted a dense black light. Then his soul was pulled out, just like Lu Xian's soul. With his soul taken out, the young man from the Holy Fire Saber sect was left with only his physical body. He was dead. Man Ning and the others were even paler. The Wu people's methods were too strange. They specialized in dealing with souls. Only soul protection treasures could resist them. However, the barbarians' methods weren't limited to that. Even soul protection treasures couldn't resist the Wu people's attacks. Many people who were stronger than the Wu people were often defeated by the Wu people because their methods were impossible to defend against. "Huh, you want to run away from us? How naive." The young man from the Wu people sneered. He grabbed the soul of the young man from the Holy Fire Saber sect and stuffed it into a bottle. They could use these souls to make all kinds of puppets and even higher-level substitute puppets. Therefore, souls were treasures in their eyes, especially the souls of young prodigies. This gathering of prodigies was a great opportunity for them. It was even more attractive than the dragon race's home planet. Just accept your death and you won't have to suffer. Another young prodigy from the Wu people sneered. Everyone, gather together and attack together. Let's get out of here, Man Ning said. They had no choice but to give it their all. Although she knew that even if she gave it her all, it might not work. She could tell from the fate of Lu Xian and the others. However, they couldn't just give up. It seems that you're still unwilling to give up. You're courting death. A young man from the Wu people sneered. They could tell that Man Ning and the others wouldn't give up. 5 young men from the Wu people waved their hands. A large number of puppets appeared in the air and surrounded Lu Ming and the others. "Let's go!" Man Ning shouted and was about to attack. However, at this moment, a calm voice sounded, "Why rush? Just kill them." It was Lu Ming who spoke. Man Ning, who was about to dash out, paused. He looked at Lu Ming in shock. Kill them? She had to admit that Lu Ming was very powerful and had already broken one of the shackles of the origin source secret technique. However, the Wu people's methods were too strange. They could often defeat the stronger ones. Facing 5 young prodigies from the Wu people, she didn't think that Lu Ming could win. However, when she saw Lu Ming's confident smile, her heart could not help but calm down. Lu Ming was also unfathomable in her eyes. Hearing Lu Ming's words, the 5 young prodigies from the Wu people were stunned. Then they burst into laughter. "Haha, did you hear that? This kid said he would kill us. He's just a first-level divine lord trash. This is the funniest joke I've heard in so many years. I've decided to take this kid's soul. I'd like to see what gave him such confidence." A young prodigy from the Wu people laughed so hard that tears almost came out of his eyes. In the primitive universe, other than the top 100 races, there were also some special races. The Wu people were not afraid of anyone. At the same level, the Wu people had an absolute advantage. Dong dong dong. At that moment, the young prodigy from the Wu people made his move. He hit the small drum in his hand and invisible sound waves rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Man Ning and the others shuddered. Lu Ming was the same. His body trembled slightly and his glabella glowed. He felt that his soul was being attacked by a powerful force. Even the frightening feather painting found it difficult to resist. The frightening feather painting had been refined by Jianghu himself. It could withstand soul attacks. However, the soul attacks of the Wu people were too strange. They were many times more mysterious than the 9 Serenities' heavenly kings. The frightening feather painting could withstand the soul attacks of the 9 Serenities Heavenly King's people, but it couldn't withstand the soul attacks of the Wu people. The soul attacks of the Wu people were like drills that kept spinning. They drilled through the frightening feather painting's defense and attacked Lu Ming's soul. In fact, although soul defense treasures were rare and precious, even a powerful faction like the Sacred Fire Saber sect had some. For example, Man Ning and the others also had soul defense treasures. However, they couldn't withstand the soul attacks of the Wu people either. Chapter 3569. Ah, that's all you've got? The Wu people laughed, and at least 10 puppets rushed towards Lu Ming's group. It's over. At this moment, Man Ning and the others had the same thought. They didn't expect to die at the hands of the Wu people before they could even enter the dragon race's home planet. Soul attack? You think you're the only one with it? At this moment, Lu Ming said lightly, and then a small bell appeared above his head. Original secret technique, Bell of Evil. As soon as the Bell of Evil appeared, Lu Ming activated the power to sever the shackles. Ding-ling-ling. The Bell of Evil rang with a clear sound, but it was full of evil power. The key was that the young Wu people's soul attack was directly defeated by the Bell of Evil. Not only that, the Bell of Evil counterattacked, and the soul attack swept towards the young Wu people like a tide. The young Wu people's body shook violently, and he couldn't help but step back and spit out a mouthful of blood. His attack was defeated by Lu Ming and he suffered a backlash. His soul was injured. Man Ning and the others felt their souls lighten, and they were no longer attacked. You also have a soul attack? It's an original secret technique. Damn, it severed the shackles. A few young men from the sorcerer tribe cried out in shock. Let's kill him together. The sorcerer tribe elites took out all kinds of weapons to attack the soul. There were bells, flutes, gyukins, etc. Clang. Ooh. All kinds of sounds rang out, and the soul attack rushed towards Lu Ming like a storm. Ding-ling-ling. Lu Ming kept activating the Bell of Evil. The power of a shackle severed was amazing, and it directly defeated the soul attack of the 5 young Wu people. Kill. Lu Ming shouted coldly, and the Wind Destroyer boots, the Voidbreaker sword, and the Overlord spear appeared one after another. The Voidbreaker sword was the fastest, and it directly broke through the void and attacked a young Wu people. The Wu people youth didn't even have time to resist before his head was cut off. But in the next moment, the body of the Wu people youth exploded and turned into a scarecrow. His body appeared in another direction, his face deathly pale. Scarecrow substitutes. The Wu people are indeed amazing. Lu Ming frowned. At the same time, he charged toward the Wu people youth with the Tyrant God spear in his hand. Let's attack together. At this moment, Man Ning finally reacted to the situation. She shouted and her blade flashed. She charged towards the sorcerer tribe youth and slashed a puppet in half. At the same time, the other 10 youths also attacked. The sky was filled with saber lights. Lu Ming used the Wicked Bell to block the soul attack of the Wu people youth. Without the soul attack, Man Ning and the others could finally use their full strength. More than a dozen puppets were blocked by Man Ning and the others. Lu Ming dashed past them. The overbearing deity spear was small and he defeated 3 puppets consecutively. The overbearing deity spear vibrated and 5 beams of spear gleams burst forth, shrouding the 5 youths from the wizard tribe. Damn it! Kill him! The 5 young men from the sorcerer tribe shouted and waved their hands continuously. More wooden puppets flew out. Ding! 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 The wicked bell kept ringing. The puppets shook violently, and wisps of black mist came out of their bodies. They even let out shrill screams. These puppets were made with souls. Now that they were attacked by the wicked bell, they were about to collapse. Lu Ming rushed over and destroyed more than a dozen puppets in an instant. Wizard God descends! The 5 Wu people youth shouted at the same time. Their skinny bodies swelled up and turned into monsters dozens of meters tall. The monsters wore bronze armor and held bronze swords. This was their origin's secret art. The 5 of them had the same origin's secret art. The 5 of them used their origin's secret arts and attacked Lu Ming together. Gate of Domination. Lu Ming waved his hands and the gate of domination appeared. It expanded to 10,000 feet in size. There was a pitch-black vortex on it that kept spinning. A terrifying suction force erupted and locked the 5 members of the sorcerer tribe in place. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and waved the tyrant god's spear, cutting off a shackle. Boom! Boom! Even if the 5 Wu people youth worked together, they couldn't withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. 2 of the Wu people youth were forced to retreat, while the other 3 suffered the brunt of the attack and their bodies exploded. During the process of the explosion, the area constantly distorted, and traces of the scarecrow appeared. They wanted to use scarecrows to escape, but this time, the area was suppressed by the gate of domination. The terrifying suction force had completely locked down the area. Wisps of black light appeared and let out terrified screams. Oh no! Damn it, impossible! After several terrified screams, the 3 Wu people youth were completely annihilated and died on the spot. The scarecrows also have their limits. As long as this area is sealed, you won't be able to replace them. Lu Ming laughed inwardly. This made sense. Otherwise, no matter how he killed them, the Wu people could use scarecrows to replace them. That would be too heaven-defying. Wouldn't it be impossible to kill them? You dare to kill our Wu people? You're courting death. Run! The remaining 2 young sorcerer tribesmen screamed in fear and tried to escape. But how could their speed compare to Lu Ming's? With the wind-extinguishing boots, he caught up to the 2 Wu people youth in a flash. Spare us! The 2 Wu people youth screamed miserably and begged Lu Ming for mercy. When they killed others and extracted their souls, they only felt exhilarated, incomparably exhilarated. They had never thought about how they would feel when they were killed. Now that they finally encountered it, they only felt fear. They were so scared that their bodies trembled. They even wanted to kneel down and beg for mercy. However, it was obvious that Lu Ming would not leave them behind. The gate of domination suppressed them and the Overlord Divine's spears swept across. The remaining 2 youths from the sorcerer tribe exploded and died completely. With a wave of his hand, he took the storage rings of the 5 Wu people youth. Amazing! Man Ning and the others looked at Lu Ming, dumbfounded. They had thought that Lu Ming was very powerful, but now they realized that they had underestimated Lu Ming. Lu Ming was simply unfathomable. What did they see? 5 secret techniques of origin. Lu Ming had already cast 5 types of origin secret skills, and 2 of them had already severed the shackles. Was he still human? A monster? More importantly, was this Lu Ming's limit? Was Lu Ming still hiding his strength? The more they looked at Lu Ming, the more they felt that Lu Ming was like a bottomless abyss as deep as the sea. Man Ning's beautiful eyes flashed with joy. She knew that she had made the right bet. She had given Lu Ming a piece of dreamy divine jade in order to befriend Lu Ming. The stronger Lu Ming was, the happier she would be.